Hey you guys, welcome back to Southern Latitudes. I'm Robin, and I just thought I'd show you guys something. So in my office, where I also store a lot of things like onions and potatoes, I noticed that my sweet potato from last August, September is putting up shoots. And I thought, oh, nature's trying to give us a sign. So it's time to start our sweet potato slips. It's near the end of March. And I would definitely love to have these in the ground by next month, maybe even the May, June, July. It's never really too late because they grow all summer long. And they love the heat, they don't care. I was actually quite late in getting my sweet potatoes in the ground, and I still had 48 pounds of sweet potatoes by harvest. So, and you want the harvest to be about 120 days. So what I need to do is find a container appropriate and fill it with water. Can you see? It has almost all the way to the rim with water. This is about the best size container I could find so far for this sweet potato. Now it is growing out of the end, and it will continue doing that, and these will be slips 1 and 2, and looks like 3 and 4, but there'll be a whole lot more that show up everywhere else as I'm growing the slips out. So what I do is I will just keep this near my kitchen sink, keep the water level right about here, and refill it as needed. And then when I'm ready and see roots, you want to wait till your slips have roots on them, and then you can break them off and either put them in a separate jar of water, or you could just wait till it gets all gnarly and then break them all off at once and then put them right into your garden, with dirt level being right about here, and let all the roots underground and leave this above ground to trail and become your sweet potato plant. And then for each one of these, I was getting maybe 4 sweet potatoes, at least, 2 to 3 big ones and a couple small ones per slip. Isn't that cool? I'm getting my sweet potatoes started for the year, and it's cost me nothing. Next, I gotta go get my onions. Here is my Overachiever onion that I've been showing you all season long, which was overwintering. We had an onion party July 19th of last year, got our seeds going, water, and by October 1st, you're supposed to get them in the ground, but since my seeds were going so well, we put them in the ground about the 1st and 2nd week of September. So this particular onion down here, I believe, is a 10-15 white, but there's a small chance it could be a plethora too. But it's done growing. We fertilized the first half of its life, and then by the first of the year we stopped fertilizing because they began expanding with a bulb, and they grew, and when their tops flop over like this, it's pretty much saying I'm done. So as you can see, that's a pretty good size onion, and we're going to pick a few of them for comparison, but also just because I think I'm going to use them to cook this weekend, and it's about time. This is March 24th, so sometimes, don't be afraid if your onions take until March or something to be done. Oh, look at these. See, all their tops are over too, so we should pull them. They're not going to do anything but rot if you just leave them and leave them and leave them. They're not meant to be left like over the summer in here, especially with Florida's heat and humidity. Now these right here did not get very big. You can see they're pretty small, but the tops have completely fallen over and they're rotting and dying. So that tells me that's all we're gonna do with this one. It's time to get it out. Same with this one. It's all done. Sometimes they just are what they are. Look at the size comparison though. This one versus this one. That's why it's really important to get your fertilizer down, and also pick the right seed. I pick short day onion seed, and then of course some of them, just like any other vegetable, get bigger than others. I have a couple more comments. So I did a second sowing, and I also didn't fertilize this bunch, just to show you guys. So if you get your timing wrong and it's way too late in the game, which I did just to replace the original ones and to check it out, but this is what happened. The tops never got really green, so therefore the bulbs will never get very big, because you only get as many layers for making a bulb as you have of greens. There's only 3 greens, as you can see, 1, 2, 3. So therefore the bulbs are tiny, and this one's tiny too, and this one's tiny too. But you know what, they still cook and eat real good. That'll be so good if we make a roast, or want to have like steak with little like pearl onions. You kind of, even though these are plethora, you can make them into like a pearl onion dish. And I have more right here, so it's not just a one-off. This is just what happens when you don't fertilize or don't get your timing right. When you are growing onions and you're pumping tons of nitrogen into them, you will get weeds unless you put down the ground fabric. But I don't really advise for that. Just put up with the weeds and pull them afterwards when you're pulling out all your onions. Look at those beauties over there. Woo! My red onions are still developing their bulbs. That I've noticed that they take much longer to start their bulbs and bulbing season. But look at how strong those stalks are. I'll have no trouble with getting red onions when the time comes. Now my bulbing onions, my bunching onions, excuse me, look at those beauties down there. And then I have a little corner of leeks going. My bunching onions are beginning to show signs of that the heat has been really hot and they want to go to seed. Let's look at those real quickly. Now this is what it looks like when your onion is going to seed. This is called a scape in here. And this will eventually, this is like a little paper skin. It'll break open, and inside there'll be white flowers. They're absolutely beautiful, and that's where the seeds come from eventually. Now that's pretty typical for bunching onions. And last year I had a big problem with my red onions, you know, going to seed and producing scapes very early. That's why I changed over to the red Creole in hopes that we could prevent that or delay that. So here we are. I've just been curious all year how big this onion is, and it probably is not fair to take it with the top on. Hold on. And so this is the moment of truth. I went ahead and got these little shears because I don't think it's fair to count the top. So in pounds, 1.6 pound onion. One onion, 1.6 pounds. Woo! I can't believe that. Here, look for yourself. Oh my goodness. 1.6192. Can you believe that? And just for reference, we'll just do a couple others just to see what like normal. Now this is kind of more like a medium onion. What? Oh, I'm sorry, half pound, 0.5. And then this little bitty guy that was done way too soon, but you take your wins with your losses, or your losses with your wins. That was 0.32. So there you go, 1.6, 0.5, and 0.32. So that's my onions. Different variety of sizes, essentially all the same. Oh, here, let's put it in, even this. Essentially all the same exact onion variety, but it really depends on timing. That's why we start July 19th. Yes, even through hurricanes. I have a great video on that. I'll link it at the end. But you want to fertilize, fertilize, fertilize. And then you want to not fertilize when you don't have to. It means the difference between getting a 1.5 pound onion versus pearl onions. So you guys, thank you so much for watching this video with me all the way to the end, in spite of my neighbors having pressure washing done today. But we're gonna get our sweet potatoes going, And we're gonna get a few of our onions out, at least to cook for the next week or two. As those tops fold over, I will be grabbing them all out of there. And then when I have plenty of sweet potato slips, they're gonna go in and replace my onions. So that's my other secret how to get really big sweet potatoes. Put them in a bed that's been highly fertilized. And then you don't have to do anything all summer long but float in your pool round and round. You guys take care, God bless, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye. I was packing things up and I got to thinking, maybe I should tell you that normally when you pull your onions, you should lay them out and let them dry and cure for a couple weeks. And that would be what's best. But sometimes, and it won't hurt you to just pick them and go to the kitchen and start cooking with them. It really doesn't matter. But if you have the time and opportunity, pull a few and let them cure. That's kind of what some of this is. They're gonna sit on my counter and cure until I need them, but at least they'll be there and available, and I'll avoid having to buy some at the grocery store. So, all right, I hope you enjoyed that addendum.